Good afternoon. This is Living Intentionally with Pastor John. I hope that you are having a good week so far. Sorry, it's been a little bit since I last posted. I'm trying to keep up with this, but it's still a new thing for me. So today I want to be talking about prayer, and I want to encourage you to be in prayer this week for your families, for your community, but especially for missions. If you were in church last Sunday, we received these pamphlets for Sending Hope, and they're kind of centered around the Annie Armstrong offering that we do as Southern Baptists every Easter. And what these offerings go for is the North American Mission Board, NAM. And for those of you who don't know what NAM is, the North American Mission Board is focused on the ministry and missions designated in North America. So these are places like Canada, the U.S., as well as places like Puerto Rico and others as well. And in this pamphlet, we got a couple of stories that I'd just like to share with you real quick. Because a lot of times we give to these mission offerings and we just kind of think, oh, I'm just giving money and it's just going to be gone. And I don't really hear what's going on. I don't really know what I'm giving to. And here's a couple of stories. The first story is about a couple named George and Rebecca Santiago. They are in Puerto Rico. And this past year, Puerto Rico got devastated by several big hurricanes. And what the North American Mission Board does is they actually provide disaster relief to places like Puerto Rico, places that have been devastated by hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, and the like. And they actually were sending George and Rebecca a generator as well as funds to support the ministry they are doing there. Then we got another story about Philip and Jamal Nache. They are in Minneapolis, Minnesota. For those of you who don't know, Minnesota has actually received a large population influx of people from Africa, so African immigrants, and they've actually planted 2 churches there in Minneapolis, Minnesota for the African population that they have there. And then the third story we get is Rob and Lisa Warren of Madison, Wisconsin. There is 40,000 college students there in Madison, Wisconsin, and they are doing college ministry, sharing the gospel with the college students there, and just opening their minds and to the words of the gospel. And we as believers sometimes get caught up in our local church and local communities so much so that we forget to pray for the things that God is doing around the world. So I just want to encourage you today to be praying for our missionaries, to be praying for missions, to be praying that God would lead your heart to give this Easter. As well as you don't just have to pray for North American Mission Board, even though this is the week to do that, the week of prayer. But I want to encourage you to do that, but also pray for other missionaries. You know, we have Josh and Kimbra in our church who have gone over to Africa. Lindsay and I also have 2 friends that just left, Chris and Tatum King, that are going over to do missions. Be in prayer for our missionaries. Be in prayer for those who have gone, and also be in prayer of how our church can focus on missions and how that we can also send missionaries and missions as well. So I want to encourage you this week, be in prayer for what God is doing across the world, that the gospel would be shared and preached in every nation and in every tongue. And I hope that everyone has a good week. I can't wait to see you tonight at Wednesday service and prayer meeting. And if you're not there, I can't wait to see you next Sunday morning for church. And I hope that you have a good week. And remember, be in prayer for our missionaries.